Hello guys, welcome to our channel once again. So today we are going to learn more about the Azure storage account, how you can create service principal and the secret to access it from the Databricks. So let's get started. So how do you create your first storage account? So you go to your new resources in Azure. I'm assuming you have the subscription. If you don't have it, you can take it once. So search for storage account. Please do not search for data lake, because if you search for data lake, what you are going to get is Azure Data Lake Gen 1. But if you really want to take advantage of all the features of Data Lake Gen 2, go to storage account, say create. Now select your subscription, select your resource group, whichever you want. And if you don't have it, just create it one. Give your storage account a name. It should be a unique name across the world. So important thing here is that when you go to advanced, don't forget to select your hierarchical namespace. This is what actually differentiate between your normal blob storage and Azure Storage Lake Gen 2. So just enable it, say review and create. So by the time it gets created, let's talk more about service principal, which is very important resource whenever you are working with Azure. This is something which you will always hear about. This is how Azure actually does authentication and authorization across different resources. So it is very important that you know about it and you have it one. So what you have to do is you need to go to your Azure Active Directory. Click on your Azure Active Directory. Go to app registration. If you do not have any app, you have to first create it. Okay, it's very simple. You just go to new registration, type in the name, you say first app. Okay, here you can give any of the website name. It's should not be yours only, so there is no check on this. I'm not creating this because I already have it. So what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll show you the one which I already have. This is the one, my mm, app which I have already created. So let's go back and see our Gen 2 storage account is created. Here you can go. So see one here you will see all the containers what you can create. So right now it doesn't have any container. I'll go ahead and create one. Say branch. Leave everything as is. Okay. So with Azure it also gives us a storage explorer, which is still in a preview mode, but we can use it always. So this is something which you can also download. This is free. Microsoft Azure is Storage Explorer that gives you more features, but this is very basic features which you can get here. You can upload your files or the blobs here. Okay, but what we'll go back is to see how you can set up your service principal. So as I said, this is my app which we have created now, but it doesn't have a secret associated with it. Okay, so how do you do that? That is little tricky, but let's do that. So what you have to do is you have to first go to your subscription. In subscription, select your subscription, then go to my permission, click on this view, select add role assignment. This is the important step. Now you have created your app, but you need to assign a role to it, and the role which we have to assign, that should be, we can select it from here. So search for storage blob data reader. Okay, and then you select your app. So right now I'm using this app. Okay, select the app. Now I have already provided this role to this app, so I will show you here. Okay. So now you can see I have added two roles for it. So first I tried with contributor role, but that didn't work. So that's where I did little more research and I found out that the service principal has to have a storage blob data reader. That is what gives this access to blobs. So once this is done, you will go back to your storage. Now you select access control. Now you have to search your app. Search your app. Right? Now you can see here, right? It's already there. Okay. So this is my storage account which I had already created, and I had already set up all the accesses so that we can quickly see that. So what you have to do is you have to open this in a Storage Explorer preview mode and then go to your container. This is where we'll configure the access. You see manage access. In the manage access, you have to give your object ID. Object ID is same as your service principal. So I have already added this one. We should be able to see it. Yeah, see, this is my object ID. You can see this object ID is nothing but the app which we have created, the object ID here on the client ID. It has two things in this, client ID and object ID. So based on the object ID, you have to add your access here. So once you have added this access, now we are good to use this service principal to access this from your Databricks. So when you go to your Databricks, I already have this Databricks account with me. Here you have two different ways of configuring your mounting. If you are aware of the mounting part of it. So before we can access any file here, we have to mount it. So mounting can be done in through two ways. One is that if you are the admin of your storage account, if you know the keys, you can use the keys. So this cell is actually using my keys. Using the key, I am doing a mounting. So here you have to provide your storage account name and your container name and your mount point, and be careful this side you need to again give your um, storage account name with this convention. So once you run this mounting will happen. So now I have already mounted it. So this is where, see, this is the mounting which I have created and used it. So once my mounting is done, I am able to access this file here. This is the file which I am accessing. So the other way is that you use a service principal. This is more important because the way we configure our service principal and secret. So the syntax for this is slightly different. You can find it in any of the documentation. So what are things you need to know is the client ID, client secret. These are two things you need to know along with your tenant ID. So if you have these three things which we just now created, we have created a client ID, but we have not, okay, we have not shown you how to create a secret. So let's go back to our application. So this is the app which we have. If you go to your app, you will have certificate and secret. The certificate and secret, you have to click on new secret. Okay, you can give any name of it and you can tell how long it should be valid. Can be 1 year, 2 year, or never. So once you provide this, it will give you the key. So this is a key and client ID. This combination is very important, which we have to provide here. So remember this. If you want to use your service principal to access it, you need to know client ID and client secret, and then you can do the mounting. So as soon as you do the mounting, you're good to go. So if you see this one, this this access is happening through my service principal. So now you're good to go and do all your analytics work using this service principal or using this mounting. So in our coming videos, we'll be talking more about how your Databricks notebooks can be used to analyze all your big data. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you.